Well, let's see how you did. Set 16 doesn't have anything new in it. You know that as you evaluate these, you need to do what's in the innermost parentheses first. Is that right? So I want to just think about the problem before we actually do any substitution here. This, whatever's right here, we really want to do that part first, don't we? Now, once we do that part, do you see that it's all multiplication after that? It's the opposite of A times the opposite of A times whatever this is. So there's one little addition problem here, and that we are adding the opposite of A. That is an addition. And then it's all going to be multiplication. So on your paper, it should look like this. Here's the opposite of A times the opposite of A, and then a big parenthesis, and then P subtract A, and then big parenthesis, and then a bracket. Why do I make them big? Yeah, so I know that they go together. I know what's happening. So we just have to put a 2 here, and a 2 here, and a 2 here, and then a -4 right there. So that's what it should look like on your paper. Then, I guess we have the whole thing written out. So can we go ahead and do the opposite of 4 subtract 2? So that's -6 right there. So that takes care of that. Now do you see it's all multiplication? It's the opposite of 2 times the opposite of 2 times the opposite of 6. All multiplication. Does it matter what order we do it in? No, it doesn't. We're multiplying. There are 3 negatives. What does that tell us about the product? It's negative. And if we go 4 times 6 is 24. If we go 12 times 2, still 24. Doesn't matter what order we multiply it out in. Did you do okay?
Yeah.
How many of you got it right? Okay. If not, do you know what you did wrong? Okay. That's an important thing as well. So I'm going to give you another one. And then I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to work on it. So this one, P times A times the opposite of P times the opposite of A, if P is -2 and A is -4. So it's -4. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes. Okay, let's take a look. So we have P times A, and then we have the opposite of P, parenthesis, the opposite of A, end parenthesis, and then our bracket, right? We got a -2 here, and a -2 here, and a -4 there, and a -4 there. So if you wrote it out like this, and you actually did it, you actually replaced every variable with a parenthesis and put that number inside, and you kept all of the brackets and parentheses and negatives that were there before, which I have in black, right? then it should say what it's supposed to say. And it's all multiplication. Do you see that? There's no addition here, is there? All multiplication. So technically, we're supposed to do what's inside that bracket first, aren't we? That would be a positive. Wouldn't the product here be a positive 8? Positive 8. And then we're supposed to multiply by negative 4 and negative 2. So wouldn't that product be a positive? Okay. 8 times 4? 32 times 2? 64. Okay. Because it's all multiplication, and multiplication is commutative, it doesn't matter what order we actually multiply it out in. Since it's all multiplication, you can multiply it out in any order you like, and you could even do this. There's 6 negatives, that's positive. And then you could say 2 times 4 times 2 times 4, or 4 times 4 times 2 times 2, doesn't matter. That's it. How'd you do? Who got it right? Yeah! One more. This one might make you cry just a little bit. Okay? But it'll be the only really horrible one. So let's go to page 73. This is actually practice C on page 73, right there at the top of the page. So you can look in the book and do it rather than have to copy it off the board. I'll write it up here as well, but you guys can look in the book. What's going to happen if you miss one parenthesis? Oh, wouldn't that be awful? One tiny mistake and then... doing really good. It looks like a crazy foreign language all over your paper. Is that what it looks like to you? Yeah. That's what it should look like. It's a language. Anybody getting 6? 18? I know these kind of are a pain and they take a while, but I'm not going to give you 30 of them, okay? We'll take it easy. So x subtract x, and x subtract a, and then a subtract x. I got to get it all written out, and you can put the numbers in as you go along. I'm just doing it this way. Negative 2, negative 2, negative 2, negative 2, negative 5, negative 5. That's a lot of negatives. Oh. Well, I've got it written here. How about we just do what's inside these parentheses here? Kind of narrow it down a little bit. So in here, I've got the opposite of 2 plus 5, don't I? Yeah. This is plus 5, so that's a 3. Here I have the opposite of 5 plus 2. Okay, that's negative 3. So we've got that narrowed down a little bit now. Now, do I need to worry about the 3 subtract negative 3 right now, or do I need to multiply first? Okay. So out in front we have the opposite of negative 2. And then in here we really need to say the opposite of negative 2 times 3. Now that's negative, isn't it? Aren't there 3 negatives here? So 6. Oh, you're right. 6. Then plus 3? Yeah, okay, so we do have 2 negatives here. So that is plus 3. So we've got 9 inside. Now, 2 negatives, and we're multiplying those 2 negatives. So that's positive 18. Okay. In your notes somewhere, you should have something like the opposite of a number, like 4 or negative 4. They're opposites, aren't they? And you should have additive inverse. Is there a number that does not have an additive inverse? 0. Why not? Is there a negative 0? Okay. And then we had reciprocal. Or multiplicative inverse. So, what is the reciprocal of 4? 1/4. What is the reciprocal of negative 1/3? Negative 3, right? Now let's talk about this. What happens when you add a number and its opposite? What do you get? 0. Additive inverse. What happens when you multiply a number and its reciprocal? What do you get? You get positive 1. Every single time you get positive 1. Even if the number's negative, its reciprocal is negative, and if you multiply them together, you will get positive 1. Multiplicative inverse. Get it? Additive inverse, add them up, get 0. Multiplicative inverse, multiply them together, you just get 1 each time. Is there a number that does not have a multiplicative inverse? 0. Why not? Right, its reciprocal would be meaningless, wouldn't it? That doesn't make any sense to us. You need to keep track of opposite and additive inverse and reciprocal and multiplicative inverse. Every single assignment you've been asked about one of these two things, haven't you? All right? I guarantee you that's on the test. Right? Okay. So we're going to work on set 16 for 20 minutes, and then I have something else for us to do. All right? Get after it.